What's going on? How's everybody doing? I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Anthony or Spoken Anthony. And, it's kind of late. It's raining. And I have nothing else better to do right now. So let's talk about what's going on. Mainly, I'm just kind of curious how people feel about the whole entire incident in Jacksonville. This thing's kind of heavy. Maybe I should take off this light. It's kind of bright too. I want to kind of lower some. That's a little too bright. All right, we'll go ahead and work with that. But yeah, how y'all feel about the incident in Jacksonville, right? Uh, Young man got pulled over, got roughed up by the police, and do you think it was justified or overreacted? Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and what I'm about to say is probably very unpopular. The police did have a right to pull him over based off the laws in Florida, especially when it comes to the weather. It doesn't necessarily have to be storming in that particular moment for a police officer to pull you over. If it's wet outside, cloudy, and your windshield wipers are on, and if you don't have them on, if you don't have your windshield wipers on, they can pull you over. It's one of those silly laws in Florida most people probably forgot about or don't use. Rule of thumb is if you have your windshield wipers on, have your headlights on, and you won't be an issue. I personally think they just kind of pulled him over because, his vehicle was old, beat up with dark tinted windows. I think I went over that in my video I posted the same thumbnail. But I was kind of curious how people feel about that whole entire situation that happened in Jacksonville. Uh, you do have a right to ask for a supervisor at any point in time, right? So I'm just thinking to myself, why didn't the officer just didn't ask for or call for his supervisor, right? That was a failure on the officer's part. I think he just went again and something. He felt more emboldened to act crazy once his posse pulled up. I always said that police officers are the largest gang out there. It's not the Bloods or the Crips, Vice Lords, or whoever else. It is straight up the police officers, and not all of them good. Uh, me, Leo. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's not. It's the police officers are the largest gang out there, hands down. You tell me a larger gang than the police, the American police force. I kid you not. And then the most dangerous part about it, they have the badge. Now, I'm not saying every single police officer is bad, but the ones that are bad weren't for everybody. Isn't that what they say about most of the people? And like I said before, he was justified in being pulled over. I'm not naive to that fact. But the big but is here that they shouldn't have used the force he did. They shouldn't have busted out his window without getting the supervisor there first. As far as I could tell, the supervisor wasn't there. They shouldn't have punched him in the face after the windshield was open. His hands was in the air. It was visible. They shouldn't have drug him out on the vehicle and pushed his face into the ground. And then on the initial video you didn't see, you just saw him being pushed down. But on the other videos, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have like a 50 or 30-minute video about it. He was being punched in the back multiple times. They went down and punched him in the back. So it was one cop who punched him in the face and another cop who was punching him in the back multiple times. Both of the officers that did the punching were white. People say that's not really an issue that shouldn't play a factor into it, but it does. It's unfortunate black officers were there and they didn't do anything. They still took their brother's side, their armed side. That's why I say the police officers are the largest gang, because right or wrong, they're going to stick by each other, and they were definitely wrong in their actions. And like I said, I think his name was Williams. He uh, he had a suspended license. And as far as I looked into it, when you have a suspended license, that does not get you jail time. Whenever you have driving without your headlights, that does not get you jail time. But the fact that they were trying to pin on him drug possession, they were trying to pin on him resisting arrest, which he wasn't, but you could technically say, okay, sure. The fact they were trying to pin on him that he had a weapon, they were trying to pin so many charges on him, just to justify the actions that he did, to the point that where when it came time for him to get his charges dropped, he didn't file a complaint. And he most likely, in my opinion, this went ahead and just say, hey, if you don't press any charges, if you don't make a complaint on us, we'll drop these charges, and we both go about our lives. That's my opinion on it personally. I could be wrong, but when you've been around for a while, you see how these things go. Should have got a bottle of water. My mouth is really thirsty. Anyways, if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. But outside of that, that was just the most recent thumbnail I had as posting the video. We don't got to talk about that whole entire police situation. What else do you guys want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the whole entire Trump thing and his name officially being put out there that his name is in the Epstein files? I find that very interesting personally. Um, the only reason I find it interesting because Trump always said who he was. Trump always said how he liked to be forceful. How Trump always said how he liked young women. Trump said all this stuff, right? There has been inappropriate pictures of Trump, pictures with Trump and Epstein before he even ran for the second time. Those pictures were out there. Nobody cared then. So I'm just trying to figure out why the fake outrage now. I really don't think people care as much as they pretend to. I just think this the bandwagon thing is to do right now. I think it's something that the media is pushing out because Trump is hurting them in some way, shape, or form. I'm not a Trump supporter, but you knew the man that you elected, right? So when people are sitting here talking about Epstein files, Epstein files, Epstein files, you didn't care about that when he wasn't in office anymore, right? I mean, you didn't care about that when he was on the campaign trail, right? So why pretend to care about it now? I mean, this is like some fake outrage, and I don't understand it. You knew the man you elected. People knew who Trump was all the way back to even when the Central Park Five happened. When that even movie came out, God, what was it called? When They See Us. And he was talking about how those boys should be murdered for what they did, even though they didn't do anything. Um, even though January 6th happened, right? And here's my thing about America that I'm going to say that a lot of people probably won't agree with. That I'm going to say this: the only reason we have the problems that we have right now because we have not punished the people who have rebelled against our country to the fullest extent of the law. When you're a treasonous person and you go against the American flag, and this is all the way back to the Civil War, you should have lost. Let's say if you don't believe in the death penalty, fine. You definitely should have lost all your land, all your money, all your property, and made homeless. The fact that we let them all go scot-free because, they lost their brothers in the war too. Okay, but, they fought against the flag, right? They fought against the country. And you can say what you want to, all the different theories of why we was really in that whole entire situation, but we were just too soft. If we would have persecuted them to the fullest extent of the law and made sure they had penalties. But no, what ended up happening was that they just find another way to go against America and the people because people don't like to admit it, but America has a racist problem, right? Racism was caused everything to be so expensive in America. That's the quiet part that nobody really wants to talk about. But it's cool though. You can rewrite history all you want to when you got enough money. But same thing with January 6th. When January 6th happened, if every single one of those people would have went to prison, Trump wouldn't have been elected again. But it's a fact that every month, it seems like almost every single month, you hear about a new January 6th person that was pardoned. Uh-oh. All right, forget that. A new January 6th person that was pardoned that has did something wrong. I think there was one who ended up unaliving a few people. Son for fraud. It's just the list keeps going on and on. I should do a video about that one day. I should get a list of people who are partying on January 6th and see how many of them actually committed additional crimes. There was one who got arrested for murder not too long ago, if I remember correctly. I know I'm not supposed to say the N word on YouTube, but it is what it is. I'm not expecting this to really do anything. I just wanted to talk. I can't sleep, and um, I'm supposed to be editing one of my videos that I'm working on, but it's storming. It's storming really bad here, and I don't like being on the computer when it's storming. I guess that's just me personally. And again, if you guys haven't already, comment, like, subscribe. If you have any topics you want to talk about, go ahead. Um, I've been working on updating my channel. I made a banner for it. It's kind of cool. Um, let's try to really invest and put more effort into this whole entire YouTube content thing. Because, whenever you watch a YouTube video in general, I mean, unless you're just sitting down like this and it's doing a live, it's a lot of work. You got to do a lot of research. You got to do thumbnails. You got to do a lot of editing. And unless you're big enough to pay people to do it, you're doing it all yourself. So it's like a good another 5 hours out of your day sometimes. And then you like look at it like, man, I'm not even sure this even looks good. Am I conveying my points well enough? You can write a full script and then go completely off script because you're thinking something else in the moment when you're recording. So it's just, I have a new appreciation for content creators, not live streamers so much, but more content creators, especially with all the effort you got to put into it. Now, I know streaming is difficult too, um, especially the way these newer streamers are doing it, because they're making it all reality TV shows and all kinds of craziness. Having firework wars, and yeah, they're investing a lot of money and time planning into it. So I can't sit here and pretend like streaming is easy. I guess anything that you're going to do that you're going to make money on, it's going to take some effort and work. You got to learn and grow with it. And depending on when you come into that process, it's really depending on how fast you'll grow or what kind of audience you get. Because if you come in late into the game, it's going to be a lot harder to grow, be a lot slower. And even though some of my videos on my YouTube, not the streaming that I'm doing right now, like my actual YouTube videos, some of them are some pretty good quality work. I see people that put in what seems like half the effort, but has a lot more views. And you try not to compare, but you look and see what other people are doing who does a similar thing to you to see if what you could do better. And that's the way I always look at it. So I look at people, I see what they're doing, and I'm not necessarily the creators, that have over 100,000 subs or like that, but people who are like 10K, 20K, 50K, and you just look and say, hey, what are they doing? What can I improve on? Okay, I see this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I like to think I'm doing it better. Oh, I can improve on this. And then you look at the bigger people, but the bigger people, they normally have a team behind them. They have like editors, they have graphic designers, people who do research for them. Like I remember back in the day, I remember when I discovered Album and Preach. I think this is around the time of the pandemic when I discovered them. Because let's be real here, when we were home all the time, there was nothing but to do but watch movies and watch Netflix, right? Netflix, YouTube, all the time. And I remember I came across Album and Preach, but it wasn't because of them themselves. I came across I came across them because of Doja Cat actually. Back then, I actually did like Doja Cat. I thought she was very extremely talented, very attractive. It's just as time went on, I learned to have a complete utter disgust for Doja Cat. I cannot stand the woman, and she's one of those people I kind of wish she never became famous. I dislike her that much. But um, they made a video about her because it came out allegedly, she was in these white supremacist groups being taught down to demean, and they were saying how it's like a kink type deal. And I remember seeing that, and I remember I saw those videos of Doja being called Lady of the Night, all kinds of stuff in these groups, and it was just like the craziest thing. I was like, wow. And then you look at her, the way she behaved after that, it was like a precursor. Like what Album and Preach just put forth. Uh, kind of like a precursor to what was to come. And the interesting part about it, like I said, I wouldn't have discovered Alvin and Preach if it wasn't for Doja Cat, because she actually made a video talking about addressing Alvin and Preach. That would make me check them out. So uh, yeah, I'm kind of curious if they would have been as successful if it wasn't for Doja Cat. 'Cause I think that's when they really had their big boom and influx. But it just takes that one person to really shout you out, to really help you grow, or somebody to notice you. So you never know. But yeah, everybody gets lucky every once in a while. You just gotta keep grinding from what I'm being told. It's a slow process, and even I watch people like Tasha K when she talks about her journey. She was even saying, sometimes content creators don't even make their first $500 until after their year of doing content. And I was like, you know what? That's not a bad thing. Because if you can spend time working for a company, another company that doesn't appreciate you, doesn't value you, that overlooks you, and you can actually take the time to invest in yourself and try to build something for yourself, why not do that? Why put in, I don't know, 20 hours overtime every pay period when that 20 hours could be used for you to try to build something for yourself, to have another stream of income that can grow exponentially larger than the income of your actual job? Now, I will say the little YouTube checks that I have gotten, I am very grateful for. I am very happy for. I still remember when I first got my $100 YouTube payout. It was actually a little bit more than $100 for the first time. I was so happy. I was ecstatic. I was very proud because it's a journey to get monetized. Unless you're paying like Fiverr or one of those sites to help you get those views. What is it? I think you gotta have like 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours. I forgot what the other two requirements are. So you gotta get all that, and the main reason those two stuck out, they were the hardest to get. The 4,000 watch hours was a pain in the butt to try to get when I was trying to build my YouTube channels. I had everything else. I had the subscribers. I had, I forgot what the other three categories were, but other two categories were. But the watch hours, the 4,000 watch hours, I was like, man, that took forever. So when you finally do get monetized and get that first little YouTube payout, you're extremely happy. Unless you're one of those rare breeds that uploads one video and it goes super viral, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a long while. The interesting thing part about it is my YouTube channel is actually really old. I was making content years ago. When I say years ago, probably over 10 years ago. No, it was way before that. So it was over 15 years ago. Now I'm thinking about it. I had some really good videos back then. Well, good to me. A lot of them I had to private and delete because of I wanted to focus more on traditional professional career because I had a kid and I wanted to focus more on that. But and by the way, I mean I see people popping in and out. I have a nice little viewership. Just go ahead and make a comment. Tell me what you want to talk about because I'm just rambling and I don't know. I can't sleep, so I might as well ramble or subscribe to whichever one. I don't care. I'm just sitting here just talking. Why not? If I can't sleep, I might as well be productive. This ring is very relaxing. Um, Kind of wish I was in a tent. I don't know about you guys, but it's nice to sleep in a tent when you hear the rain falling on it. There's not too many campgrounds around here anymore that I could think of. Truthfully, I think the last time I went camping was back when I was young. And when I say young, I think I was like in my late teens. Because me and a group of friends used to go camping sometimes. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. We caught our own fish to eat. We brought a few things. It was just nice. Sleeping in a tent, a great experience. Oh, I hear sleeping in a tent when you volunteer to do it. It's a great experience, not when you're forced to do it. That's like most things in life, though. So, um, let's just talk about some more random things. Okay, let me say this. I don't know who pops in and out, and I'm just gonna say this: you never want to be a woman's first nice guy she's dated after she dated a complete jerk. You don't want to do it. And what I mean by nice guy, I mean not necessarily nice in how you think you are, but how you present yourself and treat others. Because she won't know how to necessarily appreciate it the right way, because she normally has to work through her issues with the guy that treated her really bad. So that really sucks. You know, the women always tell men they need to go to therapy, right? You know, how come you haven't gone to therapy? That's like their go-to to try to hit a man sometimes. And I always say, you know, sometimes, a lot of times, a woman's weapon is her mouth, because 9 times out of 10, a woman cannot beat or hurt a man physically. However, though, what she can do is she can definitely hurt him with her words. She can definitely do that. And if they're not healed from a bad relationship, it's all over for you. On the flip side, it could be the same thing for, I guess, women and men too. But you know, I just have an experience dating women, and it's one of those things that younger people can use that kind of advice. You know, you gotta be more careful with a woman who's been hurt, that's been scarred, and has not healed. And you can normally tell who they are. Hell, they will normally tell you who they are. That's the one thing I can give it up to women for. They will tell you who they are most of the time. They will tell you that they're crazy. They will tell you they have issues. They will tell you they have a temper. And a lot of times we just kind of blow it off and like, oh yeah, it's not that bad. Ha ha ha, whatever. But you know, that goes back to the other saying. When somebody tells you who they are, make sure you listen. They will tell you everything about them. I can't believe I've been talking nonstop for 22 minutes. That's crazy. Yeah, only one comment this time. It's all good though. I'm actually finally starting to get tired. I'm about to get off here in a few and get some sleep finally. I gotta get up early and try to go to work. I have to go in the office tomorrow, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm going to the office tomorrow. Anyways, I am out. Sorry, just got a text message to my phone. Anyways, I am out. You guys have a good night. Subscribe, comment, go watch some of my other videos. They're pretty good. Have a good night.